Hey guys, and welcome to your stretching workout. Okay, so we have a 10-minute stretch ahead of us. It's gonna be really good. If you have yoga blocks, I would recommend go getting them. If not, pillow always works, or a rolled up towel that you can just kind of place, because we're gonna start on the floor. So I'm gonna take a yoga block. I'm gonna sit on it. Oh, that was kind of loud. We're gonna sit a little cross-legged here, so those knees can come down. I like to sit here because it helps you sit a little higher, opens up your hips a little bit more than sitting directly on the floor. We're gonna start with a little side bend. Okay, you ready? We're gonna put our hands over here to one side. We're gonna lift our arm up and over, and reach overhead, and then switch and go to the other side. Reach it up and over, up and over. We're going side to side. All right, if you feel that opposite knee starting to come up and follow you a little bit, just give it a little nudge down and try to get that opposing energy. So as you're pressing the knee down, the arm is coming up and overhead. Now as we get a little more into this, I want you to start coming a little deeper and start twisting just a little bit from the hips, through the shoulders, up to the head, looking up as much as you can. You can bend that opposite elbow a little bit more, getting a little closer to the ground. Again, pay attention to that opposite knee. Try to keep it from coming up and following you over to the side. I don't want you falling over. And let's do one more on each side. So reach it up, over, twist, looking up. And then the other side, reach it over, twist, look up. Good job. Okay, let's remove your pillow, block, whatever you're using. We're gonna come into table pose. And we're gonna get a little bit into those psoas muscles. So I want your shoulders above wrists, hips above knees. You're gonna tuck one knee in, and then you're gonna send it out nice straight leg, looking forward. And then again, tuck that knee in. And this time, keep a little bend in that knee and lift it up. And then tuck it in, keeping that bend, lifting it up. So just keep going in and then lifting it up. Gonna get into those hips just a little bit today. Always good to do that. Keep that belly button pulled in. Gently though, you don't need to like suck all the air out of your tummy. Good, let's do one more on this side. And then up. All right, so now let's do the left leg or the opposite leg, whichever one you didn't do first. So first extend that leg out and then tuck it in. And then keep that knee bent, lift it up. And now just go tucking it in, lifting it up. Tucking it in, lifting it up. Should feel a little different on each side. Keep that core steady, keep that, well you don't have to keep it steady, but just keep that belly button pulled in. You want a little movement in the hips. Good, let's do one more, pulling it in and then extending it up. Good, let's take our feet together, knees wide, come back into child's pose. Slide your hands forward, send your hips back, forehead to the floor. And extend your shoulders, extend those elbows, nice strong arms reaching forward, hips reaching back. Good, and let's slowly come up back into table pose. Now we're gonna do a psoas lunge. So I want you to bring your left foot forward. If you want, you can pad the mat underneath you. Give your knee a little support. What we're gonna do here is just in this position. Right now we're stacked right on our hips. I want us to slowly come forward. Actually, wait, before you do that, whoops. If you want, grab that yoga block. It's good for balance. I want you to take your hips and kind of tip them back so that sacrum is kind of sliding underneath you. That belly button, you're zipping it up like a pair of jeans. Nice and steady right here, and then slowly bring it forward. Keeping that hip tilt. And you're gonna feel a stretch in the front of that leg that's back behind you. Getting into those hips. Good, and then you can come out. And then you can come back into it. And come back out. And just kind of go into it, keeping those hips active, keeping that belly button pulled in. Sacrum sliding underneath you and back up. It's the best way I can describe it. I don't know. Yogis have such a nice way of describing how to move your body. And I'm just like, yeah, you kind of flip it and turn it and push it underneath you. Not the best. All right, on your next one, let's come down, pressing it forward, keeping that engagement in the core, and then let's come back up, stacking that hip right on top of your knee. And then you're gonna take your right arm, bring it up, keeping that little tilt in your hips. I want you to then twist, bring that arm over and gently twist and look up if you can. You're gonna feel that right in there. Keep that engagement in the core. Hips tilting back, looking up, reaching that arm up over the head. If you need support, bring that block up to the other side. Lean into it. Good, and release. All right, take the block down. Let's come back into table pose, knees wide, and let's come back into child's pose. Nice big inhale, and then exhale, let it all out. Good, all right, so now we're gonna do the same thing on the other side. So let's come up into our table pose. Now you're gonna bring that right foot forward. You can bring your block over to the left side if you need a little balance. And again, let's get into position first. So stack those hips, tuck that sacrum underneath, zip that zipper up the front, and then slowly press it forward and come back. And then press it forward, keeping that engagement in the core. Might want to try and get a little deeper, and then bring it back. Coming forward. Do this at your own pace. I have my block over here on my left side, just keeping me balanced so I'm not falling over. And bring it forward one more time. Good. And then we're gonna do that little side bend. So stack the hips right over the knee. If you want, give yourself a little padding underneath that left knee. And you're gonna take your left arm, reaching it up, bringing it over to the right side, bending along with it. You can get that block over onto your left side to give you a little bit of balance. And then as you're reaching your arm over, keeping those hips tilting back, slowly look up and reach and breathe. Always breathe. You can come in and out of this if it feels like it's a little too intense. Good. Reaching that arm over, tucking those hips, feeling that good stretch along the left side of the body, and then you can release it, move your block, come back into table, and let's actually go into a downward facing dog from here. So come up into plank, and then lift those hips up, and pedal your feet. Feel those hips. Does one side feel a little different than the other? Mine sure do. Pedal those feet, walk that dog, lift those hips up, heels down, press through all 10 fingers, straighten out those elbows, stretch through the shoulders, drop that head through your arms. Woo, that was a lot, right? All right, one more quick touch. We're gonna come into plank pose and then drop your knees. So you're in table pose now. Come down to your elbows, shoulders right above your elbows. And then slide that right arm forward, drop those hips. Well, drop the belly, keep the hips up. Let your head rest on the floor if that feels good for you, and stretch out that right shoulder, stretch out that right arm, reaching towards the front of the mat. And breathe. And let that belly hang. Good, then slide that right arm back. And then do the same thing for the left arm, let it slide forward. Reaching forward, dropping your head to the mat. Keeping your hips elevated, letting that belly just fall to the floor. And breathe. Good, then slowly bring it back. If that feels good, stay there for a little bit. Totally cool with that. All right, and then let's come back up into table pose. We'll do one little cat-cow breath. Lift your head up, drop the belly, inhale, and then exhale, drop your head, pull that belly button in towards your spine, arch your back. Good. Shimmy those hips a little bit, get them back to neutral, and then come back onto your heels and sit up nice and tall. Guys, thank you so much for joining me. That was a quick 10 minutes, but really good for the body. Let's finish it off with a nice big inhale. Reaching those arms up, looking up, filling those lungs with air, and then exhaling it. Bring your hands down to heart center. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you tomorrow.